What happens when a peaceful world is overrun by ancient, bloodthirsty monsters, and humanity's only hope is a clueless monk armed with a book of children's nursery rhymes? Welcome back to Recap Realm. Today, we're breaking down a mind-bending fantasy action epic, Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons, where terrifying monsters collide with incredible martial arts and cosmic power. Meet Tang, a broken, pacifist demon hunter fighting his own failures, who goes from being mocked by villagers to unleashing the absolute ultimate power of the heavens. Smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and let's dive straight into the chaos. Our story begins in a secluded, quiet fishing village in ancient China. A young girl plays happily by the edge of a massive, misty lake while her father gets ready for a grueling day of work. Seeing that his daughter is sad to see him leave yet again, the father decides to cheer her up. He steps right into the water, splashing around playfully until her sad face turns into pure laughter. But the joy doesn't last. Suddenly, the man begins shaking violently, yanked downward by something massive beneath the surface. The little girl keeps laughing, completely oblivious to the fact that her father is in mortal danger. Within seconds, the man vanishes into the dark depths, leaving nothing behind but a cloud of blood floating on the surface. Terrified and desperate, the villagers quickly hire a flamboyant demon hunter to deal with whatever is lurking in the deep. The hunter puts on a massive show, chanting loud spells and throwing explosive charges directly into the lake. Following a massive eruption of water, the villagers pull up a giant stingray. The hunter proudly claims victory, announcing that this exact creature was possessed by a demon and responsible for the fisherman's death. The relieved villagers cheer and thank him for saving their lives. However, a lone man steps forward from the crowd to challenge the claim. His name is Tang, an idealistic, undercover demon hunter and apprentice monk. Tang looks at the creature and states the obvious: this isn't a demon at all, just an ordinary, innocent stingray. Furious at being questioned, the first hunter turns the crowd against Tang, accusing him of helping the monsters. The easily manipulated villagers beat Tang up, tie him up with thick ropes, and treat him like a criminal. Believing the water is perfectly safe again, the villagers happily jump back into the lake to celebrate. Tang can only watch in absolute helplessness, knowing the real nightmare is still hiding right beneath them. The celebration instantly morphs into absolute horror when a gigantic, predatory water beast erupts from the depths and swallows a woman whole. The villagers scream in utter disbelief, scrambling frantically toward the shore. They assume they are safe on dry land, but the monster proves them entirely wrong. It unleashes a massive, muscular tongue, stretching onto the land to snatch fleeing people. In the middle of the madness, the little girl from earlier runs toward her mother. The beast seizes the moment, wrapping its tongue around the child and dragging her toward the lake. The brave villagers launch a desperate counterattack. They manage to sever the monster's tongue right at the edge of a wooden bridge, catching the little girl just in time. But before anyone can breathe a sigh of relief, the beast leaps completely out of the water and swallows the child whole. Overcome with pure rage and grief, the mother dives straight into the lake after the monster. Nearby, Tang frantically chews through his ropes, freeing himself just as the giant beast rises from the water, staring down the trembling woman. She begs for her child back, but the demon answers by devouring her as well. The monster crashes through the village infrastructure, causing total chaos. Buildings collapse and people lose their balance. A baby carrier begins sliding down a tilted platform straight toward the lake while the mother screams helplessly. Tang springs into action, throwing himself onto the wooden planks just in time to catch the infant. With the monster lunging directly at him, Tang uses the creature's massive weight and momentum against it, tilting the platform and launching himself and the baby back to safety. Tang safely returns the infant to its mother, noticing the fake demon hunter hiding like a complete coward. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake violently. A gigantic, powerful woman charges through the crowd, leaping into the air and slamming onto the platform with catastrophic force. The impact sends the beast flying onto dry land, crushing the fake demon hunter. As it settles, the massive creature begins to shrink, transforming back into a harmless-looking young man. The angry mob moves in to kill the human form of the demon, but Tang steps in to block them, firmly believing in peaceful reform over violence. He pulls out a bizarre set of instruments and his prized possession, a book titled The 300 Nursery Rhymes. Tang believes he can use the purity of music to cleanse the evil from the demon's soul. He begins singing loudly, but his performance is painfully, hilariously terrible. The demon and the villagers just stare in absolute confusion. The awful singing utterly derails the creature's mental state, driving the demon into a psychotic rage. It attacks Tang, smashing everything in sight. Right before Tang is crushed, the giant woman steps in. She beats the demon mercilessly, flinging a magical cloth over it that shrinks the beast into a harmless plush doll. Her name is Duan, a highly successful, no-nonsense demon hunter. When Tang proudly shows her his nursery rhyme book, she openly laughs in his face. Disappointed by his methods, Tang seeks counsel from his master. The old monk reminds him that turning evil into goodness is a complex path. He then alerts Tang to a far more dangerous threat, a demon operating a popular restaurant in the wilderness that uses human flesh as its secret ingredient. Tang tracks down the restaurant, stepping into a packed dining hall filled with laughing customers. A hostess greets him warmly, offering a tour, but Tang's spiritual senses tingle. He realizes the entire environment is a massive illusion and demands the demon show its true face. The illusion shatters, and the demon hostess attacks, forcing Tang to sprint for his life. Just as he's cornered, Duan bursts through the walls, unleashing a flurry of devastating punches that turn the hostess to dust. Duan then goes to war with the rest of the hidden demons in the restaurant, using her flying magical rings to shred through them. She loudly demands the boss show himself. A young, handsome man tries to ambush her from behind, initiating a fierce martial arts duel. Duan gains the upper hand, blasting him across the room and launching her magical rings directly into his face. The rings rip away his illusion, revealing a hideous pig snout underneath. The demon fights back with a massive rake, forcing Duan into a defensive scramble. He manages to wound her, but Duan maneuvers behind the beast, landing a series of heavy kicks that force the monster to reveal its true, towering form, a terrifying, giant demon pig. Duan manages to pin the beast's arms, locking it in place. She screams at Tang for help, explaining that the demon's core essence is trapped right inside its throat, and Tang needs to reach in and pull it out. Tang hesitates, completely terrified by the pig's gruesome face. But in the scramble, Tang slips and falls forward, making accidental contact and successfully extracting the glowing essence. Duan locks it in a magical bag, but the pig demon's hatred is far too strong. The energy violently expands, ripping the bag apart and transforming the demon into an even larger, monstrous boar. Tang and Duan sprint for their lives as the entire restaurant collapses into splinters behind them. Having narrowly escaped, the two collapse by a quiet lake. Wounded and bleeding, Duan instructs Tang to apply pressure to her injuries. Tang accidentally hurts himself in the process but helps her without a single complaint. As the emotional intensity builds, Duan leans in close to kiss him. Panicking, Tang remembers his strict monastic vows of celibacy and runs away into the night. The next day, Tang confesses his failures to his master. The old monk explains that defeating the pig demon requires the help of the most powerful entity alive, Sun Wukong, the king of demons, who was imprisoned beneath a mountain 500 years ago by the Buddha after throwing the heavens into absolute chaos. Later that night, while traveling through a dark forest, Tang walks right into a trap. He expects dangerous bandits, but discovers the captors are actually Duan's personal guild. Duan steps forward with an ultimatum. She plans to force Tang to marry her. Tang flatly refuses, explaining that as a monk, his heart must practice universal compassion for all living things, rather than loving just one person. Enraged, Duan locks him in a room. To help her win him over, Duan's sister uses a magical compliance talisman to make the tomboyish Duan dance gracefully. But the spell malfunctions completely, causing Duan to accidentally beat up Tang before the talisman flies off and sticks to Tang himself. Tang is forced to perform ridiculous, involuntary dance moves in front of the guards, who misunderstand and beat him up yet again. The chaos is violently cut short when the massive pig demon tracks them down. The guild scrambles onto their mechanical vehicle, trying to outrun the beast. Seeing the monster closing in, Duan shoves Tang off the vehicle a split second before the pig demon rams it, obliterating the machine. Everyone survives, but they are cornered. Before the pig can finish them, a powerful demon hunter surrounded by a tiger aura blocks the path. He overpowers the pig with superhuman strength, throwing it into the air and sending it retreating with a heavy kick. Two more elite hunters arrive, the ancient master Mighty Foot and a flamboyant warrior named Prince Important, who travels with 4 elderly female attendants tasked with throwing flower petals around him. The hunters immediately begin arguing over who gets the fame and bounty for the pig demon. Tang is deeply disgusted by their vanity, calling them out for caring only about money rather than protecting innocent lives. He demands Duan return his nursery rhyme book. Furious at his ungrateful attitude, Duan rips the book to shreds, scattering the pages into the wind. To make him jealous, she begins flirting with Prince Important, but a heartbroken Tang simply turns around and walks away into the wilderness alone. After a long pilgrimage, Tang reaches a bizarre mountain covered in giant lily pads. In a dry clearing, he finds an enormous lotus flower growing out of a deep cavern. Tang descends into the pit, where he is immediately greeted by a wild, eccentric, and remarkably short man who starts hugging and kissing him. Tang realizes this bizarre figure is indeed Sun Wukong, the legendary Monkey King. Tang asks for his help to defeat the pig demon, but Wukong is purely focused on escaping his 500-year prison. He tries every trick in the book to get Tang to remove the Buddha's seal on the cave entrance. When Tang refuses to fall for it, Wukong tries to blast his way out by brute force, but the mystical roots of the cave tighten around him, torturing him for his disobedience. Seeing his suffering, Tang shows genuine compassion and offers Wukong a banana. This simple kindness softens the ancient demon, who agrees to help. He explains that the pig demon's ultimate weakness is his memory of his late wife. They can lure him into the cavern by having a beautiful woman dance beneath the moonlight. Suddenly, Duan drops into the cave, having tracked Tang down, and volunteers to be the bait. Tang desperately tries to tell her to leave, terrified for her safety. Wukong ignores him, flirting with Duan while teaching her an alluring, graceful dance. Watching them interact, Tang is visibly uncomfortable, completely unable to hide his growing love for her. That night, the plan is set in motion. Duan dances gracefully beneath the moonlight while Tang plays a serene melody nearby. Watching her move, Tang finally accepts the truth in his own heart: he is completely in love with her. Suddenly, a monstrous roar tears through the mountain. The pig demon has arrived. Wukong taunts the beast from inside the cave, luring it right over the hidden opening. The ancient seal activates, pulling the massive pig down into the cavern, where Duan quickly seals it into a plush doll. Duan hands both captured demons to Tang, urging him to use his nursery rhymes to cleanse their souls. She then places a ring on his finger, begging him to marry her. But Tang undergoes a massive internal conflict. He reacts harshly, stating he would rather cut off his own finger than break his vows. Heartbroken, Duan takes the ring back. She presents him with the nursery rhyme book, which she had meticulously gathered, dried, and glued back together page by page. Too stubborn and conflicted to accept it, Tang refuses the gift. Duan leaves in floods of tears, promising to never follow him again. Tang steps out of the cave, staring at the moon in pure, silent agony. Back inside the cave, Wukong asks Tang for one tiny favor. He asks the monk to simply cut down the giant lotus flower blocking the cave roof so he can enjoy the moonlight too. Trusting him, Tang slices the flower away. Instantly, the atmosphere shifts. The surrounding flora bursts into a raging inferno. Wukong begins laughing like a madman as the mountain explodes. The true, unsealed Demon King bursts free from his prison, grabbing Tang effortlessly and mocking him for being incredibly foolish. Despite the terrifying situation, Tang remains completely calm, telling Wukong that he is still a prisoner because the Buddha watches everything. Infuriated by his unbroken faith, Wukong violently rips all the hair from Tang's head. Suddenly, the three elite demon hunters arrive to claim the ultimate bounty. Fist of the North Star charges first, but Wukong moves like lightning, tearing his throat out instantly. Seeing the danger, Master Mighty Foot activates his ultimate technique, transforming his leg into a gigantic weapon the size of a building. He stomps Wukong into the dirt, but the Monkey King simply pierces straight through the foot, launching the old warrior through the air where he crashes onto Prince Important. Panic-stricken, Prince Important orders his attendants to carry the wounded away while he unleashes a barrage of infinite flying swords. The swords track Wukong through the sky, but the Monkey King deflects them effortlessly with his staff. In a final move, the prince combines all his blades into one catastrophic, giant broadsword, launching it straight at Wukong's head. The impact cracks Wukong's staff, but the Demon King's raw power is absolute. The giant sword shatters into a million pieces. Wukong lets out a terrifying roar, releasing a kinetic shockwave that vaporizes the remaining hunters. With the hunters dead, Wukong turns his deadly gaze to Tang. But out of nowhere, Duan steps forward to shield the monk. She throws her magical rings at the Demon King, but they shatter on impact. Refusing to step down, she charges him directly, but Wukong swats her away with a single, bone-shattering blow that sends her crashing to the ground. Tang crawls desperately to her side as she lies dying. With her absolute last breath, she looks into his eyes and asks if he ever truly loved her. Tang completely breaks down, crying uncontrollably as he confesses that he has loved her from the very first moment they met. Hearing the truth, Duan smiles softly and passes away in his arms. In a display of pure, unadulterated cruelty, Wukong snatches Duan's body and obliterates it into dust right in front of Tang's face, but Wukong's triumph is short-lived. By losing everything, Tang has finally released all earthly attachments, fears, and doubts, achieving true enlightenment. He opens the nursery rhyme book Duan repaired for him and begins chanting the sacred verses. As his voice echoes, the clouds part, and a colossal, planet-sized manifestation of the Buddha appears in outer space, extending a glowing, mountain-sized palm down toward the earth. Wukong refuses to back down, transforming into a giant beast form to hold it back, but even the mighty Demon King cannot compete against the power of the Buddha. The enormous palm crushes Wukong completely beneath its unstoppable force. When the dust settles, Wukong is brought before Tang in a state of absolute submission, his evil completely conquered. Tang slides Duan's repaired ring onto Wukong's head, where it fuses into a permanent, magical binding crown. The feared king of demons is now officially Tang's loyal disciple. Later, Tang's master tells him he is finally ready for his true destiny, the legendary journey to the west. Alongside Wukong and the reformed water and pig demons, Tang sets off on a massive pilgrimage toward India to retrieve sacred scriptures, dedicating his life to easing human suffering and bringing eternal peace to the world. What did you think about this wild, action-packed adaptation of a classic legend? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic recaps. See you in the next video.